All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudettes, everybody that has ever been participating in any of my channels, period, or any of my creative mediums, my name is Sean Cross, and this is going to be the first video-based episode for the Anatomy Podcast. Our guest today is going to be Ian. I forgive me. I don't keep track of the other names, not commonly. Ian and friends, all of the Archaic Epidemic, to say the least. They just released a little teaser that for their new song "Embraced Death," right?
Embracing death.
Embracing death. Okay, so like future tense.
Lulu, I'm from the future. But the song will be releasing on the 22nd, and that is the main reason we are doing the podcast episode today, or yesterday, basically, since it's Sunday. And yeah, enjoy this little snippet, and be sure to stay tuned with all their social media outlets, which will be down below, to say the least. But later, guys.
But they are a relatively new project, and I mean, I definitely wanted to have them on, be one of the first people to sit down and talk with them. My dudes, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing good, man.
Yeah,
How
man.
are you?
Vibing.
Not too bad.
Vibing.
Yeah, vibing. Definitely vibing. I'm like thoroughly exhausted after, like, I didn't even expect to accomplish it, but I acquired my first vehicle last night. We were
Nice.
there until like
Yeah, dude.
10
Round
or
of
11
applause.
p.m. It's it feels good, but I'm freaking exhausted. So adulting.
Well, dude, congrats. Dude. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
It
that.
should
You
be
guys
the
heard
fun
it
part
first.
of adulting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now, like, infinite freedom. I can go anywhere in the United States. I just got to get
Right.
wings now, and then I can go to different countries now.
Oh man.
But to say the least, we have two different sections for the Anatomy Podcast. I'm not sure if you gentlemen have had the opportunity to look at the older episodes, listen to the older episodes with To the Grave, Greg Gilbert, and Devin Duarte of Worm Shepherd, but we have two different sections. The first section, we're getting to know the souls, the people that make the project possible. These are the individual pieces that make the whole, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. We're learning how you guys became musicians, like the first thing that said, you know what, music is the thing I want to do, that type of thing.
Yeah.
The second part will be the true anatomy section of the podcast, in which this will be up on Spotify relatively soon compared to the video uploads. So not to worry, we're getting that under control, people. I know I've been failing with that, but it's okay. Little bumps in the road, to say the least. But with the second half of the Anatomy Podcast, we will be discussing the band project itself. What does the name mean? Where did it come from? Why was it decided that the Archaic Epidemic was going to be these guys' next big thing, or the next step in their career as musicians? But let's go ahead and start off with part one, which is going to be the people, the souls, the pieces of the puzzle. Boys, take it away. Each one of you, first off, what got you into music?
Hell, man. I mean, I guess I've always kind of enjoyed just listening and creating music. It was probably when I was really little. I saw a concert with my dad, and it kind of, pushed me in that direction where I kind of really wanted to pursue it. But yeah, tons of artists have really like influenced me over the years. But yeah, I just love the art form of it and putting the emotion out there for it.
Right, definitely. How about the rest of you guys?
I mean, I've always been around music my whole life, so it's kind of been around it, and then my dad, he just loved a lot of music, well, still does, but he never played music, but just a bunch of cool stuff, a lot of old stuff, Jimi Hendrix, Black Sabbath, all the, everything that started everything for metal.
Yes.
But yeah, and then just like playing my music myself as a kid,
Mhm.
finding my own stuff that really got me excited. And from there, just been going at it ever since.
Yeah, hell yeah. And please do forgive me real quick. let's get associated with everybody involved in the call. We got Ian on the right, but I do like, please forgive me. Introduce yourselves by all means. Like as people, like what are your names? What do you do for the band? Because we know Ian. Like we know Ian's the face. He's the singer. He's the pretty boy. But let's get to know the rest of the guys.
I'm Andrew. I play guitar.
Andrew.
I'm Luke.
Can you hear
Luke.
Luke?
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you hear Luke?
Yeah, no, we can hear Luke.
Okay,
a
awesome.
little bit soft, a little bit background,
Oh.
but no, he's good. He's all good to go. So, Ian, Andrew, and Luke. Ian, Andrew, and Luke. All right,
There we
we're
go.
recycling that now. Recycling good information. So,
There you go.
continue, Andrew, or were you kind of done with that little answer and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean that's the gist of it. You know, I got into things like band, you know, in school and all that. Picked up a guitar. So my brother got one. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I would go in his room and I would steal it. You know, so I was like, wow, that's pretty
Go
cool.
figure,
I try
right?
to put it back. Like, okay, this is exactly how he had it, but of course I didn't put it back right, so he knew. But
He knew because, you know, he would always, I think he tried to tie the strings together and they're all bent out. I'm just kidding.
How about you, Luke?
Ditto.
Yeah.
Literally everything he said is pretty much me too. Yeah.
Mhm.
And everything, so.
Right, for sure. So, real quick, I'm trying not to like clip the mic. Ian, I got a
Yes.
big question for you, just like kind of reviewing over everything.
Yeah.
What was like going back in time, briefly, the story of Betrayer, I guess, just kind of like shoo, right back in time, time
Yeah.
machine, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But just a story of Betrayer?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, originally me, Kenny, and James were in a band before Betrayer. It was called A Throne Left Empty. And then I left. I was going through some stuff and I left. And then I think James told me at one point, like, yeah, we're starting this band called Betrayer. And I wasn't in it initially. They had another vocalist.
Mhm.
But Luke actually was before me. So I really came into it kind of late. But
The final piece.
yeah, final piece.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. Luke would probably be better to. I think it was literally. It started out as an online thing.
Oh, right.
essentially. Yeah, and they just wanted to make just like aggressive, you know, down tempo, beat down deathcore.
Yeah, really beefy stuff to say the least.
Yeah, yeah.
Got them,
and
got Arby's
and-
over there.
oh yeah, and I remember when James told me about Betrayer, they had already recorded a demo of Locust. They did like a pre-demo. It was just like the first like minute of the song, and I remember it was just like a clap of thunder.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, yeah, that's sick, dude. But yeah,
Ideally,
like I said,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like they had someone before me, and he didn't work out, and then Kenny hit me up one day and was like, hey, like, you want to, you know, do vocals for Betrayed? And I was
Right.
like, oh, fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
It's very, very solid project. And for what it counts, I did enjoy the content and the music that Betrayer did distribute. Seemed like very, very solid stuff. And I was more than excited to hear that you were like starting something new. Like despite
Yeah.
whatever reasons happened, whatever happened, like you're
Yeah.
still making music. And this is what the
Okay.
Archaic Epidemic is. But kind of
Yeah.
full circling back to like the people itself that make the project, I guess kind of like a cliche, almost high school level question for each and every one of you guys to answer. This would be your biggest musical inspirations, if there are any individual bands or artists, musicians, etc., that inspired you to do what you do and inspired you to contribute what you have to the Archaic Epidemic.
Yeah.
What are those and why, I guess, or who are those and why? Not what are those?
There's a, yeah. I mean, like for me at least, I mean, there's a wide variety. I mean, early on, I mean, it was probably 80s metal, you know, like stuff like that. And of course, like I said, too, like my dad had like, you know, like 90s rap going on in the house as well. But
Yeah.
probably the biggest one, surprisingly, is probably Asking Alexandria.
Dude.
I know. I'm gonna catch some shit for it, but
No,
Oh, dude,
dude,
whatever.
like
Fuck it.
I always liked their energy and you know their swag on stage and
Yeah, like
yeah, and of course, like that's changed. I mean, they still are probably the biggest influence for me, at least. At
That's
least
really cool,
something
actually.
like that, but
Yeah, like it's funny too, because speaking on behalf of Asking Alexandra, they are technically an AZ local band,
yeah,
and I for their self-titled, pardon me, back in 2017, there was a party over in Scottsdale, which is kind of like a richer part of town. But to say the least, me and a friend of mine had the opportunity to sit down and just like talk with all of them for like hours, and it
Oh,
was
that's
super
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like basically, not only that, but when I was living out in the middle of nowhere, apparently two of their members lived out there, so they
Yeah,
would be
Ben.
shopping at the store I
Yeah.
worked at a couple times. I'm like, oh wait, Bruce? He's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
really
Yeah,
cool.
dude, like I met because I mean everyone that knows me knows that dude. I love Danny. Dude, like 100%.
He's
He's like,
iconic.
yeah, dude. Like he's probably like one of my like. There's a lot of vocalists that I like look up to, but he's probably you all can always like circle back around to Danny for being
Exactly.
but yeah, and like I said, like things change, and right now, like in this point in my life, it's definitely more heavier stuff, like
Yeah.
deathcore, death metal, and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. But
Hell yeah.
but yeah,
How about you, Andrew?
Oh man, like I have like a huge like metalcore background, kind of like with Ian. So like it's like a bunch of bands. A big one like that really got me going was like As Lay Dying. Just hearing that, just so
Solid
cool.
band.
The breakdowns, everything just syncopated. It's just so heavy back then, and still a lot of that stuff still rips.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
like that Acacia Strain, Vincent Bennett's just a beast. Whitechapel, Phil
Fuck yeah, dude.
Bozeman, so sick. Alex
Mhm.
Wade, like all those dudes are sick. Yeah, just a lot of metalcore, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
Hell yeah,
interests
man.
me.
A lot of metalcore, plenty of deathcore too. Like they're
Yeah.
really just powerful deathcore roots
Oh, yeah,
being
absolutely.
Whitechapel. Like Whitechapel, I don't think there's going to be an episode of this podcast specifically where I don't hear Whitechapel mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
They were
freaking
huge.
nuts.
They're iconic.
Well, yeah,
They're-
well, I
yeah, they
remember
still are.
like when I was in high school and I was still in my like metalcore phase in high school,
Mhm.
and I remember dude like Whitechapel. It was like
Oh my
I
god.
think my first like introduction to deathcore was This Is Exile or
This is Exile.
yeah, it
or-
might have been This Is Exile or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was them and All Shall Perish.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, All Shall
Oh,
Perish was a
okay.
bop too.
Dude.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
never
yeah.
really gave them a listen. It was more or
Bro, you
less
have
like
to.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'll listen to them then. Like
Oh, yeah.
basically in a nutshell, speaking on behalf of like that background and stuff, I try to be as vague as possible. That way it's all about the guests and stuff. But basically I went from like a Pierce the Veil Sleeping with Sirens thing right
Oh,
into
yeah.
Cannibal Corpse, Marilyn
wow.
Manson. Like it was really funny. The story behind it being that my best friend's mom was like, well, what is this baby music? And like she just showed me the other stuff and I'm like, holy shit, this is really cool, but it's a little bit much right now. I
Yeah.
remember thinking Slipknot was like psychotic and the Devil and I
Oh,
music
yeah.
video, Sid was actually chewing off his fingers. I'm like, what the fuck? But like those are definitely different times, and now definitely a lot more comfortable with that.
Hey,
So-
I still get down with Sleeping with Sirens though.
Dude, yeah,
Wow.
it's a groove. Sometimes it's a groove. You got to really feel that.
Yeah, I usually tell people I don't tend to like to pigeonhole myself. If it's good music, I'll listen to
Oh,
it.
for sure, man.
Exactly. I completely agree. How about yourself, Luke? Tell us a bit about your musical background.
I'm more the metal side
Yeah.
of things. Death metal,
Yeah.
black metal, thrash metal.
Fuck
First
yeah, dude.
band I was ever in was a thrash metal band. Pure just that speed. I love speed metal. I love anything fast. And I think because you were asking how that relates to Archaic, that's what I like to do is more
The
the
speed.
metal side of things. Even like Iron Maiden, the old school heavy metal, a lot of the bass lines I write, that very old school heavy metal.
Yeah.
That was always my background is like I found death metal, a lot of stuff like Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, Suffocation, things like that on my own. And
Right.
it just opened the whole world for me, and that's always been I love deathcore, I love metalcore, I listen to it all the time, I love it.
Yeah.
But as far as my background, it's definitely more in the metal
Yeah, like the classic death metal roots,
Yeah,
where everything
absolutely.
came from.
Absolutely, that's where my
Yeah.
shit came from.
I think that's the beauty with that we find in each other is that we all have our thing, but we all also like all of our things.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
like you know what I mean. Like I obviously can get down with death metal and black metal and stuff like that, and you know, like all of us kind of share this like cohesive like it trying to bring all of our influences together, and
Yeah.
it's just it's been a blast.
Right. And like that's the most important thing to me. Like I have not had the opportunity to sit down with thorough musicians who are like maybe not into deathcore or black metal. But they're able to create it. Like I haven't had that opportunity yet. And so like I really think to all the bands, and that's one thing among many that I do this podcast for, is just like kind of getting that question answered. How do you make music per se if like everybody has such, I don't know, different subgenre prefer like I don't know like they prefer different genres, simple as that.
Well, we
And
all
like
like each other's genres.
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly,
thing.
yeah,
But
exactly.
because of the influences is within each of
Yeah.
us, and that's what we hear,
Yeah.
and then we put it together. That's my.
And
Yeah,
you
it's
just
like,
blend it together, yeah, you
Yeah,
throw it
like a
into a
mutual-
subgenre blender.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because like we'll listen back to the stuff we have,
Mhm.
and you can definitely tell it's a cohesive sound, but you can definitely almost hear all the influences.
Yeah.
But it's in a darker, deathcore sound.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, and I don't know.
I
Yeah,
was like,
no, it's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
like
And
going
like
to
that's the beautiful thing about being in a band, is that sense of like resonance, and like how many like how the chemistry of all the band members can like intersect and just create this masterpiece, create this new innovative way of doing what is metal or deathcore or metalcore, like all these subgenres and
Yeah.
Well,
stuff.
we all know each other to the
Yeah,
point where, like,
exactly.
one of us comes up with something is like, oh, dude, he's gonna
Mhm.
lose it when he hears
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Riff, he wrote a riff or something,
yeah.
and he goes, and it's very
I just
black
labeled
metal, and
it,
he
yeah.
goes, Luke is gonna shit. when he hears it." I shit, I shit everywhere. It's great.
See, like that's the thing too, is that it's awesome because we know when all of us gonna click, when all of us are gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
stoked
Yeah.
on it, and we know
Yeah.
when one person probably won't feel it, and then we'll just work around that
We'll
while
work
trying to.
around it.
Right,
same feel.
exactly. And to all of our listeners, hell, it like if you're in my position and you're like trying to figure out how am I going to do this? How do you like function as a band? How do you function as one unit to create such like interesting music?
Mhm.
It's here, people. The source is here.
Yeah.
That's what we do this for, among other things. But let's
Hell
see.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. I noticed that with the Den of Wolves, I'm sure one of you guys saw the reaction I did, and like how
Yeah.
I was talking
yeah,
about
we
a
all
narrative.
watched it,
We
yeah.
watched it.
We
Yeah,
watched it
thank
It was
you.
together, yeah.
awesome, bro.
We
I
watched it
appreciate
together.
it.
We watched
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah.
Sick.
Right
I
back here on
appreciate
the
it.
casting couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. So to say the least, there was definitely an impression I received that there is a narrative continuity maybe being started, or like something that's kind of vaguely there. Well, is there something going on there narratively with what you guys are planning to do for the Archaic Epidemic's first step as a band?
Mm,
Yep.
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
That's a
you
good
picked
question.
up on it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There definitely is. Yeah, that is crazy. They picked on it. Yeah, there's definitely a narrative that we're trying to tell, and
Mhm.
hopefully it'll resonate. And we kind of set out. I kind of floated this notion like, look, I want this to be real as possible, and
Hit his home as hard as possible, but in
Yeah,
the most
and-
healthy way. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
and like we have a couple tracks that are that it fills in that narrative more,
Mm.
and well, really the whole but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So like, I don't know, let's kind of like get as far in there as possible without revealing
man.
too much. Are we looking at the a real story retold? Are we looking at a kind of fictional narrative that's based with realistic mechanics? Like, what are we looking at with what the Archaic Epidemic's first step narratively is going to be?
I would
Probably
say that.
probably say it's probably more of a it's not really a concept.
Well, I would say it's like it's a a fictional story based on reality, like the
Yeah.
last one that he was saying.
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
everything's based in experiences and things that we've gone through or
Yeah.
witnessed, but told throughout the music.
yeah,
So
Right.
if you front to back, you're gonna it's gonna kind of bring you through that.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's basically a journey to some type of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's important. Enlightenment, getting
Yeah.
woke people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's really cool. And the thing is, what I really enjoy about our scene, not saying like no other scenes in music do this, period, because that's not true. I'm sure it's happening in other places. But like distance, tyrantophobia, continuity, that's exploding. Aeons of
Yeah.
Oblivion, shameless plug, that comes out like what, June 11th or something. And
Yeah.
we will have them on the next Anatomy podcast episode, which I'm so hyped for. And I mean, there's the Tyrantophobia continuity.
Yeah.
There's the Post-Human project by Bring Me the Horizon. Like just all of these very, very complex stories that are based off of experiences, like you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, yo, you know what? We can't really copy and utilize Destiny properties, so let's make our
Yeah.
own version of that.
Yeah.
And that's it. Definitely feels
Yeah.
like that's what Distant is doing, because they had the song
I'm telling
Hellmouth,
you,
and I'm
dude,
like,
the boys
yeah,
in Distant have killed it
Oh yeah.
with
they really have.
marketing and stuff like that.
Exactly. I
yeah.
completely agree. But
So,
let's see. I think I'm not even sure how many minutes has it been, my guys?
I'm not sure.
Oh shoot.
Is there a way to check? Let's see
I
here.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think for sure. Were there any stories? I guess this is like a lyrical question, more or less. Ian, you are the main man behind lyrics with the Archaic Epidemic, right?
for the most part, yeah.
Right.
They'll help out too. Like
Right. So speaking on behalf of that, I guess the Archaic Epidemic's lyrical content, has that been the most, like, is that the work you've been the most proud of thus far?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I think because I remember with Betrayer, there were things where I felt like not that I couldn't do, but that I didn't do.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, and I didn't because like with Betrayer, with the EP, we're going more like a concept type of thing. It didn't really have a meaning, and I remember I was so emotional with everything that I wanted to create a real feeling with the lyrics. And I just dug inside of me, and I just tried to paint it as good as I can. And
Right.
yeah, I really do think this is my proudest, at least for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
point.
counts. Is that you're
Yeah.
not like, you don't feel like you're walking backwards or
and
even.
Yeah, and I wasn't like I tried not to be scared to write about some things, which it kind of helped, like with the whole like fantasy mixed in, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it kind of, but yeah, man, definitely proud of it.
Yeah, hell yeah. And that's what counts. I think we've been like we've thrown quite a bit of time into the first half of the podcast. So now it's time for like the marketing questions, the music questions, the band questions, blah blah blah. So diving into what is the anatomy section of my anatomy podcast. First question, I always ask this. The name of the band, the Archaic Epidemic, how did that originate? How was that created?
Well, I've actually had that name for years. Like, I think the page actually was created in 2012 because I just had it and I was like, yeah, I want to do something with that one day.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just kind of resonated with me. Just something ancient, that is overwhelming. I don't know. It just really resonated with me.
Right,
Just
right.
the words. But yeah, no, I've had that for years, and we were starting this up, and I was just like, it just felt right, for this project.
And that's what you do. You go on what feels right. You don't think about it too much. You got to go with your instincts. I know that like with my own project, there was a point in time to where it was like a 36-word name, similar to the secondary Volvidonia project.
Yeah.
And to say the least, it wasn't graphic by any means. It was more like And I might still do it in the future for the more like culty side of the fan base or whatever. But like it was really cool. And the thing is, people were like, you should name it like a one-word thing. And I'm like, well, 50 bands are doing that right now. So how original is that? You know what I mean? So like you got to go with your gut. You got to go with your instinct. And especially with art, like it's art. If you feel it, you feel it. When you don't, it becomes, well, not art that you can love per se, compared to if you're just like, fuck it, and you just like do whatever you want. You just relief, no stress, no burdens, no weight, no pressure, like boom bada bang, baby. That's how the best stuff in music is made, in art is made.
Well, and I think that we were like thinking it didn't take us long to come up with it, because I remember I think we were like thinking about it for a couple of days, and then he brought up, you know, like Archaic Epidemic, that, you know, and like I have heard him talk about it before, and I was like, all right, fuck it.
Right. Yeah, hell yeah. No, I love the name. I love the name, and as a graphic art designer, I love the logo. It's not too much of the old English font, just like jam-packed in there. It's got its own little spice. It's nice. It's very similar to the aesthetic that the Lorna Shore logo fulfills.
Yeah, dude. Well,
100%.
Well, Kalen killed it, man. Yeah, Kalen killed it, and I was really stoked to work with him because I never worked with him for any logo stuff or anything. And of course, you know, like he has his reputation of just, you know, and it was just awesome to work with him.
It's really cool stuff. And like, speaking from a marketing standpoint, I guess, as a band, how did you guys think that, for example, Ian's fans with Betrayer, or the Betrayer fans, how did you guys think that the band would be received at first? Like, did you have any anxieties? Did you have any like, fuck, this ain't gonna work as well as we're hoping it will?
Yes, kind of, but I don't know.
It was just kind of like, I wonder, you know, because it's just like from one extreme to something a little bit more broad. Because Betrayer, it was very, you know, down tempo, you know, slam, you know, just kind of
beefy.
Yeah, exactly. Beefy, for sure, but very
RB's
bad,
level.
you know. But this is just a little bit more broad. You know, like So it's got the deathcore. It has some parts that are kind of slammy, not as, you know, just like Betrayer, but you know, it kind of touches on all these little things versus just kind of being one avenue. So,
and I think like also like from that standpoint is that, I mean, hearing some of the stuff outside of what we have is that we kind of sit back and we're like, man, it's kind of very unique sound. Like,
it is.
While retaining some form of familiarity, not really with like Betrayer, but just in the metal scene, like, you know, it's not anything that's gonna like knock your kicks off or something, but I think it's definitely like something that's very new. Sounding, and
hell yeah. I like, sorry.
No, you're fine. no, I was done.
To say the least, I remember obviously my first impression, and like I remember, I think one of my favorite things about it was how continuous you were with the kind of narrative growl screaming technique, in which you're quite literally telling a story, and you happen to be adding heavy vocal spectrums to that. I love that shit. That was really, really cool. And it's like, it's very similar, I would say, to the aesthetic of like I don't even know what they would be called, but like when they had the old theater plays and you had the guy just like kind of describing everything before the curtains unleashed or whatever. Same thing. And that's what's important. You got to have your audience, you got to have their attention, you got to have their absolute focus. And if you don't, they're like, I'm just hearing blast beats or whatever. Like, I'm just hearing blast beats and growling. No, you are literally narrating with Dickie Allen-esque growls and just like big focus and all this other shit. Like, it was really cool. So like the band name, pretty like generally, it was just like, you know what, resonating with it. As far as the beginning impressions that you guys had with the Archaic Epidemic, there wasn't really any anxiety, there wasn't any pressure, but it's like, let's see how it goes. Like, fuck it, let's do it. So
there was anxiety though.
there was
a
little bit.
I mean, because it was
something new, you know,
different, especially with me and him. It was far different from
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Well, and I think with like any band, when it doesn't matter who you are,
Yeah.
like you could be, on top of the world as far as in the scene, and if you have a new project that's coming out,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna have that like anxiety mixed with, I don't know, like I know people are gonna like it, but is it gonna be something that resonates? And
Yeah.
Well, honestly, release day in and of itself is always stressful. No
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what, if you've been a band for years, if you're releasing something new, there's stress there. 'Cause
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
You bleed for this shit,
yeah.
and you hope people
Mhm.
understand what you're doing. With it.
Well, and like let me
That's
put it
the
this way:
beautiful thing about it.
I never get nervous before a show,
Mm-mm.
but I always get nervous when I release music.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know. That's completely understandable. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, as open-minded, modernized, like just kind of centered in space and time, our community and fan base is, you got plenty of people, you got plenty of fractions who are just, well, gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be a thing, unfortunately. And when you manage to acquire the traction, the reception of said gatekeepers,
Mhm.
that's really the most stressful thing about being a metal musician, I would feel.
Yeah.
Is people are like, why aren't you as heavy as the album you released 15 years ago? Example being Whitechapel, Iron Maiden, or any of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
why is Cannibal Corpse, why is Corpse Grinder singing now? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, I'm an artist. I'm
Yeah,
not
well,
a,
that's-
I'm not
yeah.
a musical
to
slave
continue.
or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Gotta keep growing.
Yeah.
You know,
And
to
like
keep
here's
growing.
the thing, if you're kind of pigeonholed, or not, like in any mean way or anything, but if you're pigeonholed in a certain genre, and if you have a 15-year career, let's say,
Mhm.
in that 15 years, do you think your songs are gonna sound exactly the same? Hell no.
Not if you're
Like,
not if you're working to grow and become better
No,
and
yeah.
better
That's
every
a-
day.
that's
like, you're gonna-
basic human evolution. You evolve.
Exactly.
like you're gonna
you
try
know?
different things out. You're gonna try to break the mold somehow. And some things may hit, some things may not, but
Yeah.
at least you're trying. And with the whole
Exactly.
Whitechapel thing, I think people, overreact sometimes.
Yeah.
I think
I
they're
think Phil sounds great.
yeah, I think they're still
I love
kicking
his
it,
singing.
and
Oh yeah.
I think it has a
Absolutely.
different dimension. Well, and like here's the thing. Singing has become more and more of a thing now in deathcore.
Than ever
Not
before.
like metalcore, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like there's still, like you have bands like Shadow of Intent
Fit
and
for an
Fist for an
Autopsy.
Autopsy.
Exactly.
So it's like, look, y'all just I get it.
It's a
I
new
love
time.
early Whitechapel.
Yeah.
I love them, dude. Like absolutely. But I mean, I think they still bang.
And the thing is, like, just speaking on behalf of the Valley, which that's been out for what, like 2 years now?
Yeah,
Released.
it's been a minute
Wow,
now,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
3?
Oh,
I think
man,
it released back
probably.
in the, yeah, no,
it's been a minute.
yeah,
That's
it's been 2 years, but quite literally, I think that is the most straightforward album made by a deathcore band. Literally half the album is true stories. He was literally
Yeah.
willing to write a song
Yeah.
about how his mom passed away.
I love it.
Like, it's fucking real. It smacks you in the face. It's like, whoa,
I love real
these people are
stories.
human. Exactly.
And
These
I
people are
think as an
human.
artist, you need to be scared to write about your story, because I think that's where the best material
Exactly.
comes from.
When
Yeah,
it
you can-
scares you, when you get the butterflies in your stomach, when, for example, you guys as a band, as an established band, a new band based off of like an older project and other things, like when you feel that nervousness in your chest, and like, there is security, there's a sense of security. You're
Yeah.
not like expecting to be stoned socially per
Mhm.
se, but like it's definitely a risk. That is what makes art.
Yeah.
Counterculture is literally a risk. That was a risk from the very start. Us as a modernized counterculture, with all the steps and all the boundaries we are constantly pushing, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. It's rebellion. That's literally how you describe it best. It's rebellion. And that's the coolest thing about it. Not because it's like edgy rebellion. It's like, no, you got to push the
Yeah.
boundaries. You got to
Yeah.
evolve. That's
Well,
what.
that was. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. You're
I
fine.
was like, that was the thing with Den. Like, we approached it like we just want to make it big. We want to go all out. We want to do, whatever we can, and the whole like cinematic aspect of it is just like, let's just go for it. You know, like let's tell this story. Like, I don't see like too many music videos with that kind of stuff in the beginning, but it's what felt right. We're just like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
let's shoot it that way and tell the story.
We love getting creative, and really, it all comes down to we. This is another thing that when we started this, we said let's make content, let's make music that is big enough to play in big, like basically like not saying like arena shows, but like big sounding,
bigger audiences,
just no holes.
Yeah, and the same thing with like video. Like if we're gonna come out with a video, we want it to look as cinematic as possible, as real as possible. People may skip through it. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
It.
Some people are really impatient, so they just gotta like zoom through everything, see if they know what they're listening to per se, or know what they're watching. Hands down, though, 100%. I want to say, for like the person that helped you guys direct the music video, I got serious Ice Nine Kills vibes. Like that, it reminded me of like almost all of the Ice Nine Kills music videos, and that is in every avenue a compliment, because I mean, quite literally, their last album was about their singer like being a lot of different murderers or murderous villains and stuff, and it was just cool. It was interesting, it was innovative, and like now we in our scene are kind of doing that same thing, and we're bringing that same expectation. That is change, that is progress, that is the next step forward. 100%. So kind of speaking as vaguely as possible, any details you guys do not want to discuss, you don't have to at all. What are you most excited for with this upcoming EP? Which there no dates.
Hell, man! I mean, just to get it out, really.
Real.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
There's a lot. Yeah, like there's a lot that I'm excited for. I think literally just baseline answer would be letting people hear all that we have to offer.
100%.
And because I don't think we're a one trick pony.
We haven't shown all our cards yet.
Yeah, and like
I'm so hyped.
I think and I think the first couple songs, like with Embracing and stuff, it is that very familiar and with them, but it's that like that very familiar metal feel. But there, like I said, like there's some things on this that I think will kind of shock people, and
definitely gonna take.
I'm ready to be electrocuted.
Like there's some big sounding stuff that I'm really very grandiose that I'm stoked for, and some heavy moments that are just stupid and
no, I'm all about stupid heavy. Like we are all about stupid heavy here. So if I'm remembering correctly, me and you were talking about this briefly, Ian, and I'm not gonna like say anything that does not need to be said, to say the least. You told me that with this next single, that is when you're going to be unveiling the rest of like the details for the album, pre-orders and stuff, right? Or is that going to be a little bit later?
Well, that was the initial plan, but we kind of push it back. We have a new plan.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
too chill.
We kind of decided that like what we wanted to do, and kind of cemented it. But yeah, we have some exciting things.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys do. Let's see. Dream tour. Like hands down, I'm sure Ian and like the rest of you guys, because of the projects you've been in before, you guys have had plenty of experience with touring. But it doesn't hurt to dream. It doesn't hurt to like take the next step and be like, wow, I wish I could open for Behemoth or something like that. So like hands down, dream tours, or maybe even a headline tour with buddies that that are slowly developing from the very bottom. Dream tour lineup, maybe 3 or 4 bands, each one of you go. Like
I might have to think.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start. I guess let's see, Shadow of Intent, Lorna Shore, and Sounds of Swarm.
Fuck yeah.
That'd be fun as hell. And if I'm like trying to go like even bigger, probably Behemoth. Even if we were opening up and we got a 15-minute set.
Yeah, no, it counts for something. It counts for something.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
Oh man. All right. So yeah, I'll do 2 tiers, and we'll do that too. So
I'll do that.
I'll probably say I put Signs and Within Destruction. I think that would be sick.
Yes, that would be cool, man.
And then, like next level, I would say Architects,
yes,
Die Artist Murder, and Us. I think that'd be cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Sick.
Architects,
Yeah, we
Oh,
fucking
and after the burial, yes, after the
That
burial,
would be so
please.
sick to tour with after
Yes.
the burial.
Oh my God, please
Well, actually,
sign
that
me
was
up.
that was gonna be mine.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my final.
I just picked
tier.
this pocket.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, Signs, Lorna Shore, and Fit for an Autopsy. That was
Fuck yeah.
my
Fuck yeah.
And then next level, definitely like Die Art and After the Burial.
Slipknot.
I think.
Yeah.
Slipknot. Fuck yeah.
Dude,
All
it's so
about that
tough
maggot
for like
action.
questions like that,
Yeah,
man.
dude,
Because
there's so many good options.
yeah,
man.
dude, like Within Destruction, Brand of
Dude, but
Sacrifice,
Brand is
Fuck
killing
yeah.
it.
Brand
love
is
the tour with
killing
Brand,
it.
Traders. I would love to tour with
Oh, yeah,
Traders.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
They've
Dude.
been silent for a little bit, not gonna lie, but like
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to just explode because I
Yeah.
know
Oh,
Steven's
yeah.
been cranking shit and
Yeah.
Alan's just like on a magical journey right now,
Yeah.
apparently in the US.
Oh,
So he's
I
just doing
thought
his own
Chris
thing.
posted something about them being over there. I thought I saw Chris Witted post about them.
yeah.
Oh, really?
recently. Yeah,
Ooh.
pretty sure.
Gotta give a shout out to our boys in Mental Cruelty. That would be another dope
Fuck,
tour to
yes.
tour with them.
Yes,
We're going overseas, definitely.
Yeah,
overseas,
100%.
definitely, definitely.
Overseas, Heaven Shall Burn and Mental Cruelty.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Heaven Shall Burn. I have not given them enough time, but I'm
I-
aware
Oh,
of
they're
them.
sick.
No, they're
They're
good.
so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
dude.
But let's see. Let's see. Speaking for what you guys have done so far, what do you think is going to be the most important step within like the next 2 months for you guys, period? Just like getting the
Yeah.
album well shared and all, or that
Yeah, I
EP
think-
or whatever
I
you're
think
doing.
the EP.
EP.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like I said, dude, like we have
Lots of surprises around the corner.
Yeah.
pretty
Lying
we
much.
have
in
a lot
wait.
of aspirations, that's for sure.
Mm.
And yeah, definitely the EP is number one. I think finding out ways to market,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
very interesting ways,
Being smart.
being smart and being creative, and yeah, man, just trying to full send it really.
Yeah.
But,
Maximum effort.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to become the best, band members that we can be, and
Yeah.
you
Best
know,
versions of yourself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's what's most important at the end of the day, as musicians, as artists, and as businessmen. Like y'all might not be wearing tuxes and stuff and like wearing fancy rings, but the thing is, it
I'll
is
wear that
indeed
next time.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. But I think that's actually a pretty good session, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. So this was Sean Cross hosting the Anatomy podcast, in which this will first be on YouTube, and guaranteed this will be episode 3 on Spotify. Make sure to follow the artist profile. This was the Archaic Epidemic. We got Ian, we got Andrew, we got Luke. Thank you guys so much for your time today and giving me the opportunity to represent you guys as like probably like what, one of the first people to interview you or something of that nature.
Number 2,
Yeah,
Yeah,
number 2.
Number 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Second place. That's
yeah.
that's for
Yeah,
something. But to say the
Oh, yeah.
least, you guys be sure to have an awesome night and stay tuned, because next weekend we'll be having Distant, and then not even kidding, but the next weekend after that will be Mental Cruelty, and I'm so
Yeah.
fucking hyped. So
Dude.
Tell
Y'all be
Luca
sure
we
to-
said hi.
Yeah,
We
tell
love
Luca
I
we
will, I
said-
promise.
and he cute.
Mwah,
I
mwah.
love
Big
him.
hugs. Big
Tell-
hugs, because he's a tree of a man.
I was gonna say,
he
tell
is
him-
though.
Tell him I will climb him like a tree. Tell him.
Again.
I will.
Again.
Again. Hell yeah, man. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
and
Dude,
then-
well, thank you for having us on, man. Yeah, this
Oh
has been
fuck
fun.
yeah, man.